Today we're going to talk about the principles of open pelvis. So there's two sorts of postures: closed pelvis, which means that the feet are facing in more a forward facing posture, and they agree for the most part. They're both pointing the same way. And largely we're talking about the points of the hip, right? And then in an open pelvis position, it tends to be wider in stance, and the feet will be in a little bit more of a disagreement about which way they're facing. So we're going to have Kacee move open into a wide angle forward fold. Right? And while the energy of her toes right now, if you were to imagine her hips were headlights, they'd be facing forward, right? As soon as we start to move into a more asymmetric posture, we're going to see why this becomes more of an open position. So feet are huge players in open and closed pelvis, and they really discern the health of your knees and your hips as it moves that energy up through the body. So Kacee's going to turn her right toes to the right. We'll move towards warrior two for an example. And then she's working to find so that her second or third toe or the center of her foot is in alignment with her knee, and it's creating this nice straight line of energy where they all are in agreement. I like to imagine they're having a cohesive, happy arrangement, relationship. You get the gist. And then the other leg, we're going to rotate her back toes in just a smidge, assuming she had tighter hips. Now, open pelvis, right? So there's a sort of a discrepancy. If we were to imagine the energy, this right hip would be going more this way. This one's turning in a little bit, and the energy feels more open and spacious in the pelvis. Always, when working in an open pelvis position, the back leg is going to amplify internal rotation. So it'll feel a little bit like that hip bone's trying to come forward and the inner thigh is working to come back. The front leg is going to always amplify external rotation. So there's a slight rooting or rolling energy in that thigh. Okay? There's a lot happening here, and we're going to go through it pose by pose. But you want to be aware that the open pelvis, we have to really check in with these basic alignments of foot, knee, hip, so that we're creating health for the pelvis, specifically the SI joints, and the knees tend to really be at a disadvantage here. Good. Another open pelvis position would be for her to straighten her right leg. Pelvis is going to rotate, but there's still sort of an open energy line, and then she'd reach down for triangle. And you can see that we wouldn't talk about squaring the hips here because it wouldn't really make sense. That would go that way, right? Open feels like there's just more expansive energy in the pelvis. Always an agreement here as well that the center of the front heel is really drawing a straight line to the arch of the back heel. And that's also going to be so that your pelvis doesn't feel like it's at a disadvantage, that the angle it's holding is in the same plane of energy. These are all just little tidbits that matter more than you think. It helps us hold integrity and create longevity in our practice and health in our bodies.